What was your favorite Nintendo game?
Listen, don't laugh at me when I say this, but it was probably either Final Fantasy #1.
Yeah. What's the laugh about that?
Well, because it's kind of boring. It can get a little bit boring because there's not much adventure. You're basically, you're not doing much, but and because you don't really have much control over your characters. They go into battle, and if your party gets beat, they get beat, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, there was a lot. I love playing Ninja Gaiden.
Yep.
Double Dragon.
And I played a little bit of that. I never owned one of those. My friend did, and I used to play over his house.
You know what? Sorry, a quick sidebar. So my family, we did get a Nintendo. I think we only had like 1 or 2 games, maybe like Mario and Duck Hunt, you know. And
now, did you have it on the double cartridge?
No. Oh, yeah. So the thing for me though was that all of my friends had other games, and I could just borrow their games. I didn't need to buy. They would just say, "Hey, I got 20 games." I'll go to their house and, "Hey, can I borrow these 3?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll play those." And that's where I found all these other games. And I don't think my family ever bought any other games. I just had tons borrowed from friends.
See, I went a completely different route. First of all, I begged my parents for a Nintendo every year, and I would say things like, I don't care if I don't get anything for Christmas or my birthdays for the next 3 years, just get me a Nintendo. Yeah. And they're like, no, it's too much money. We're not doing that. And my dad used to have this thing where he'd say things like, why don't you spend your money on it? And I would go, well, I don't have any money because I'm a kid. Yeah. And he's like, well, you got like birthday money from your grandmother, and they gave me a couple bucks a week for allowance. And I would just beg for like other jobs. Like, could I go to the neighbors and ask them if I could rake their leaves or whatever? And when I was like 11 and a half, the paper boy that we had was quitting, and I subbed for him a couple times, and he wanted to know if I wanted to take over the route. And the reason why, that's why I'm so specific on the 11 and a half, because I believe the deal with the local paper place was that you had to be 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there was like 6 months where I was delivering the papers, and he was collecting the money, and then he would give me something like 90% of it or something like that, or 80% of it, because he still was out there collecting it, and it was under his name. But then when I turned 12, it was under mine, and I had that paper out for like a year and a half. But the first thing I bought was a Nintendo.
Nice. Did you buy the Paperboy game?
I didn't buy the Paperboy game. No, I got the Nintendo, and it wasn't even one of the first versions, because I remember that my zapper wasn't gray, it was orange.
Oh.
And a bunch of my friends had it for years, and they had the gray zapper. And when they come over to my house, they're like, what is it? I'm like, this is what came in the box. And then some of them didn't even get the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt combo, and I had gotten that.
Yeah.
And then as things moved forward, I had this paper out, and plus I was like trying to mow the neighbors' lawns and like rake their leaves and stuff. And I would just spend all my money on video games. Yeah. So I probably had like maybe like 15, 20 games by the time it was done. Yeah. And I had a couple different controllers. There was like one that looked like a flight stick that I would use all the time. It was this weird like double like grip thing that you just hold on to, and then everything was like a trigger or a thumb press.
Oh, okay.
And my favorite game was Mega Man 2.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That's
I
a
just
good choice.
love that one.
Yeah, that's a good game.
And I just played it so often that I eventually beat it, and I remember that being the first game I beat.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, can I beat all of the other games? So then I would pick a game and just go after it. Like, I think the next game I beat was Metroid, which took forever.
Yeah.
Do you remember you had to write down the codes that they gave you?
Yep.
Because there was no saving the games.
Yeah.
What was the first game you beat?
I don't know. It was probably that Mario game.
Super Mario Brothers 1?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many other games I beat because, you know, I didn't, because I borrowed all of them. So,
Right.
you know, they were on the time limit. But so I did play a lot. Like I remember Blaster Master. I don't know if you ever heard of that game.
I never had that game, but one of my friends had it.
Yeah.
And we used to trade games.
Oh, yeah.
So I give him one game and he'd give me one game.
So that game was fun too. And I remember I borrowed that game for so long and I couldn't even get past like I don't know, there was something I was missing and I finally figured it out that there was more than just the level I was on. And then I think like a week after that, I had to get the game back.
Oh,